A woman recently shared how she gave up 2 juicy opportunities because her pastor told her they were not God's will for her. According to her, she got a scholarship to Warwick, but she rejected it after her pastor told her it's not the will of God. She also added that she later got into Russell in London through a scholarship, but her pastor also told her that it's not the will of God. So we want to address the level of influence clergymen, not just pastors, religious leaders have over us.
I just feel that we are the ones who give spiritual heads too much power to start making decisions for us. That's what I feel. When Jesus died and resurrected on the 3rd day, the veil was torn from bottom to up, which meant that he gave us access to reach God. So you don't really need somebody else to hear who has a clearer signal to hear from God to tell you on how to handle your life situations. So as religious people, it's not just about Christianity. Now, I know that it happens across, across religion. You have gotten to a point where you can ask. You are going for a job. You have prepared for this job. You have been praying that God should answer you, and God sends you a job. You should ask him to speak to you directly.
Well, some people are spiritually deaf now.
No, you can't be a Christian and be spiritually deaf. That means you're not a Christian. We need to call it what it is. So now you are waiting on somebody to look at it. It's like suits, people they call seers. Yes. Look at it and say, it's clear, or you go. If everybody was waiting for that, how do you think we'll succeed?
Let's not make this too much about the church, because there it's so easy to get into the church bashing.
All religion here.
But we've heard stories where religious leaders do actually guide people, and they guide them aright. And where you thank God for, thank God I shared this thing with my pastor. He guided me. He helped me to pray about it. And God was able to reveal. Because, you see, it's always good to generalize and assume that all pastors are fake or all pastors are behaving the same. These, I know people who have actually gone to pastors on certain issues, and God has given them guidance. So it works both ways.
What we do is because we have not been taught the act of making decisions, and because we're afraid of making mistakes. Human beings generally do not like to make mistakes. They want, once I put my hand here, it must work this way. Forgetting that life comes with its adversity, which helps you become stronger.
Yes.
You have to go through certain things.
Now, for me, that's the valid point there, because we must be willing to make mistakes.
Yes.
Many successful people today will tell you they tried 1,000,000 times, 1,000 times, and failed several times. So that, for me, is the valid argument. So even if your pastor says no, even if you do it and you fail, it doesn't mean that, you took the wrong decision. You're better for it.
I don't blame only the pastors or the religious leaders. I want to blame us as well. Well, not me, because I wouldn't. But the thing is, when you go to your pastor, what you should, or your religious leader, what you should go is for prayers. I want to do this. Don't go for advice, because he's human like you. Please help me pray that whatever decision I take is the right decision. Not help me decide. Because if I decide, I'm not going to decide what is good for you. I will decide what is good for me.
What benefits you.
So if I'm going to pray for you to, if I'm going to advise you to go abroad and you are one of the biggest donors in my church, I will advise you to stay.
You got it.
Okay.
Listen.
There's a proverb in Yoruba that says that what an adult can see sitting down on the floor.
What an
elder can see sitting down. A child can never see it, even get on top of the tree.
The elder is seeing his own future.
This say in the same way, what your spiritual father can see, that's the truth, YK. What your spiritual father can see, you may not be able to see it. Not because you don't have access, but because there's at a certain level.
There's nothing like that. Let's not deceive Christians.
Your spiritualist should just guide you with prayer. That's all. Let me tell you why I say that. When you take your child to school, for the first time, your child is 3 or 4, you take your child to school. Your instinct is to sit down in the class with the child. Right. Can you? Is it possible? No. It's not possible, because the God that put you on this earth gave you eye, ear, nose, everything complete for you to be able to carry yourself through life. So the same way you drop your child in school.
And trust.
You see, let me tell you something. According to the Bible that we read, God has given different people different kinds of gifts. Some He give them gifts of prophecy. Some He give them gifts of they are seers. Some are pastors. He has given them various gifts. You as a person, yes, you have access. We all have access. But there are certain people that God has just given special gifts to. That you know that when you pray and ask them for their guidance, they can pray on your behalf and God can open certain things to them. That's the truth. Now, I don't expect a carnal mind or a fleshy mind to understand these things because these are things of the Spirit. I don't expect everybody to understand it. But those of us in that space understand it. So I don't want us to discredit the part of that spiritual guidance. Let's not discredit it.
I think what we should emphasize, whether it's in the churches, in the mosque, wherever it is that we find ourselves, is that we should understand that God is in all of us.
Right.
You have that personal relationship. You should grow your personal relationship with God, and He can speak directly to you. There is no one person who has a clearer signal than you do. You have that signal. You just have not used it. You have not worked it, so you don't know how to access it. God speaks to us every day, but you are not listening. So your problem is because you're not listening. You think till somebody else tells you that this is the way to go, that is the way you should go. It's an anomaly for me.
Let me ask Morayo one question.
Go ahead.
Morayo, do you think Bill Gates, the pastor told him not to make computer?
I'll answer that question after this break.